Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Timberborn with me, Hollowpine and Hollowpine. So as you can see, drought is approaching. It's day 6 of cycle 5. We have 3 days left before it's gonna hit us. I don't know how long it's gonna be, but at this point I would estimate at least 14 days. But we're ready. We're ready. We have filled the dam to the very edge, which gives us a huge amount of water to work with. We are working on this side, and then if we finish that side, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do that before the drought hits. I don't think so. We have a lot of construction left to do. But once that one is done, we'll actually get an entirely extra level of water, which is amazing. The issue with the water and large bodies of water is that if they are shallow, they have huge evaporation, as that one takes into consideration the amount of surface space. So it is better to have deep but small areas rather than very large but shallow. Just keep that in mind if you're playing. It is one of the ways how the game is really cool. We now have 37 beavers with 1 youngling, which is really good. It led to me actually reducing the work time to 16 hours to give the beavers a little bit of time to fraternize, socialize, visit, the lake, wet turf, or whatever they want to do, because we are no longer as pressed for time as we were before. As I mentioned, I filled the dam over here. We've also filled this area so that we have enough water saved. This area is also filled, and this one is blocked off. As you can see, the pollution just remains. Speaking of pollution, we have a huge amount of issues with it. Now, I created these things that are called stream gauges, and they show you a little bit of information about the water that you have. So this one shows us the depth, the greatest depth, and what's the contamination of the water. So you can see this one is azure clear. There's nothing there. It's also showing you that this one is no longer fully contaminated. It's 48%, but it is, almost half-half. If we build one over here, you would see that it's much less contaminated, and here we could probably monitor it even better. Now, when it comes to our lake, it is unfortunately still polluted. It is 4% at this point, and despite the fact that we cannot really flush it out. If I build a little bit better this dam, I'm not gonna do that right now, but if I did that well, the stream from this river would probably flush out the pollution from here. But because it's effectively a standing body of water, which is, only marginally through this area flushed out, and this, this big amount of area is basically standing water, we still have a 4% contamination there, which is, not at all an issue, but it is there and I hate it. It's really about my personal feeling. So what are we going to do next? Well, what I want to do is I want to replace these dams with bridges to get a little bit more space for water. It's also give us back a lot of materials that we can use to continue building the dam. I will also want, or what I want to actually expand on the farming a little bit. We have, carrots, potatoes, and sunflowers, but we have a large amount of space over here. We were talking about the water farming as well. All of this will make our beavers happier, so it is a good way how to increase their happiness. And I would also like to look at this dam and rework it, especially because of the reasons that I mentioned just a few moments ago, where this area would be, we need only just like one. So this one, if it can be broken down and reconstructed as a double floodgate, will allow us to actually, flush out the lake and have it clean. Once the drought is over, all of this contamination is just gonna dry out and the fresh water will come in. But I still would like to have it for future reference available. Now, as you guys know, we are going to actually build this area as well. We're going to extend it eventually to this. area, and we're gonna fill this also with water to have even more here. At that point it would be good, you know, we could have everything here as we want to, but right now that is just far in the future. So we're gonna see. Anyway, that's all for this update. I'll be back when I have more information and some development. In the meantime, beavers are happy, beavers are fine, beavers are eating, beavers are wetting their fur, they're spending time on the campfires and rooftops. They are doing well. Alright, we're almost at the drought. We have 0.2 days left. Now, what I usually do when the drought approaches like this is I start closing the dams from the very edge. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna close it off here once it hits 0.1 day. Well, actually we can do it right now. Let me just do it. This is gonna cause that this will fill out completely. There's still a space, as you can see here, and we are also going to close this one, which will cause a little bit of overflooding. I'm gonna do that right now. That's how it usually is. It's gonna spill over the edge here if we actually still get enough water, but you can see that it keeps rising. We have the gorge here, which is gonna show us 182, 183, 184, 188, 185, yeah. But this means we will basically retain as much water as possible in all avenues. The water that's gonna overspill will eventually, I think, if it's a lot of it, fall down into the river. If it isn't, then it's just gonna spill around, but that should be fine. It really depends on how you, how and when you close the dam. Sometimes it doesn't, but yeah, in this case I did it right. So no overflooding. Yeah, okay, the drought has started. And we have closed off everything, which means that we have maximum amount of water everywhere. How's the height here? 0.85, and here we have 1.92. That is a really good number. So we'll need to continue building the dam. You can see that this side is completely done. During the drought, I would like to finish the rest of the dam so that when the water comes in, we can actually fully fill it, which will be good, which will be great. I'm really looking forward to it because this is a mega project and it's one of the bigger ones. Now, there are other ways how we could have done it. We could have gone even higher, which would be crazier, but it is certainly something that we could consider. I'm not gonna do it during this tutorial playthrough, but eventually, if you would be so inclined, you can, for example, increase the size of the dam even further and have even more water. I've seen people eventually then breaking the dams down here. For example, they would break the dam and the levee to get the lower areas, you know, flooded through water. So there are ways how you can do it, but again, this is a little bit more advanced than what we're looking at right now. Now, the pollution in the lake is still there. We got 3%, but I'm hoping that this drought is gonna finally clear it out. It would be good, you know. I mean, actually, it showed 3% for some time, and then it went back to 4. I have no idea how, but it's fun. It's just, you know, it shows my point. Like, once you have polluted areas, they will remain polluted for as long as they are. Yeah, this one is at 29%, but still pollution. So it's gonna dry out. It's gonna be fun. The game, okay, it's actually already drying out because the water here has passed out. So the pollution is now literally 0. So during the drought, I plan to start the water farming because that is something. I mean, I think I even mentioned it during the previous update that we want to get more food sources for our beavers. So that's one thing that we will do. And I would also like to start wheat farming. I think this area is ideal for it. There's a lot of space here. So if we build, I guess, you know, path here and have it over here, we could have this entire area used as a wheat farming area. And I would also like to get more wood processing, because if you check, we have a lot of logs, but we have no planks, and that is a really big bummer for us. The lumber mill has been running, on overtime, basically all the time. It's processing, yet we still don't have enough planks. Now we need them for everything. You need them for every single platform. You need them for every single stairs. And while this main area isn't really using planks, the dams are, or I mean not the dams, but the floodgates. So if we want to build any kind of advanced structure or even just a path, for our beavers to go somewhere higher up, like here for example, we need the planks. So that is something that we really want to do. Now what I'm also considering is unlocking some of the bigger housing. You have basically 4 types of houses. You have the basic lodge, which you've seen me building. That's available from the beginning. Then you have a mini lodge, which is a really nice single beaver occupied place. I like these just because they're cute, but I don't build them much. Then you have a double lodge, which is, basically a double lodge, but it costs slightly less, 20 compared to 12. So you have the double amount of beavers, 6 instead of 3. But, you spend slightly less wood. And then there's the triple lodge, which is the one that I go to. Usually, I tend to unlock it as the first thing, and it houses 9 beavers. I also like how it looks, because it's kind of neat, and you can build them back to back, they're pretty good. And they're very nicely combined with the single lodge. If you build, for example, 3 of those, and then you build these 2 behind them, you can use the roof as a pathway, then build nice stairs on the side. It's a nice way how you can combine it. So that's it. I'm just gonna plow through the drought. We're gonna see how it's gonna affect us and how ready we are, and we're just gonna continue planting the beautiful sunflowers. We're gonna plant the carrots. We have a lot of berries. So life is good in Hollowpine. Life is good. Day 16 of cycle 5. We're about 4 days through the drought. It's a very pleasant experience so far, and we're doing a lot of things. First of all, as you can see, the dam is actually almost finished. I'm really hoping that we're gonna finish it before the drought ends. I've done one thing here. I'm not sure if I mentioned that before, but I've built dams in these 2 places instead of the levees, of which the main dam is constructed from, because if we ever want to let some water out through here, and fill this area behind it, we can actually get an extra water here, like this, which is kind of cool. I tested it out, it works well. It costed us a little bit of water, but, it wasn't that bad. Now, what I've done, apart from that, I have built the triple lodges here. I unlocked the largest housing. Building one more over here, so the space for our beavers is going to expand quite dramatically. I've also built another lumber mill with a power wheel, which I paused though, because as you can see, we consumed almost all of our logs, and we have some planks saved, but we do not have enough wood. So now when we have 2 lumber mills, the issue is the wood. Now I'm fighting with that by building a small dam here, and I've built a couple of lumberjack flags here, which are cutting down. There's a large amount of wood here, so that's gonna benefit us. Then I have to haul this through the entire map to get it here, but it is actually really nice, because again, it is an extra source of wood. So every piece of wood that we can get our hands on is being used in a traditional beaver way. The farms for trees that we made are doing well, but it is a constant slow source of wood. I always forget how slow this actually is, how much space you would need to actually keep a colony like this riding all the time. So I'm really thinking we will eventually use this area, or this area, as a secondary forest. Now, there is a thing that I haven't really shown you before or spoke about, but there's something called a fluid dump. So what you can do here is you can actually take water, bring it to the fluid dump, and it will create an artificial reservoir for you. Now, I will be honest, I've never really used it before, but I've seen people use it to water large amount of areas. It gives a big amount of what would you call it, like watered area, hydrated area around it. So I plan to test it here. We're just gonna have a stack of 2 over here and see how much area we're gonna get from that. I rarely do it because it seems a little bit like cheeking. It feels a little bit like cheeking. But if you really want to know what I feel about it feels a little bit like cheating, because the amount of water that you actually get from the pump transport here, it doesn't really equate very well. Beavers have famously found a way how they can compress water, so the entire thing of, you know, small tanks and big tanks, it doesn't really equate. So I don't like it, and plus I like the whole thing with you creating artificial lakes and rivers and canals and aqueducts rather than actually doing the food dumps. But for the playthrough and tutorial, I thought that I would show it. And if it works in here, we are gonna plant the forest right here. Apart from that, I actually unlocked the medical beds, which is where beavers go and rest if they are sick. It is a nice little place here. I thought that, you know, with the view over the town, they would enjoy resting here and just, you know, taking time off if they have a hurt paw or tail or anything. So I always try to find some nice place for it. People build some crazy hospitals with these, like, you know, constructions and doors and houses and everything. It's really interesting. We've also started building the bridges. The suspension bridge 3x1. You can see that it costs 12 logs and 12 planks. Just from this small dam that we crushed, we got back 15 logs, so it is much cheaper than having the dams, but we need a lot of logs. But overall, once we finish it here, here, and here, it's going to be a net profit. Plus, and I know this is nitpicking, but the water behind or under it is actually 3x1 cubes of water, while here you actually have water just passing through, so it is an additional water that we can use. I mean, we'll get some extra evaporation and everything, but it is still something that we can do. So yes, that's it. I'm thinking, oh yes, I actually, and I didn't mention that, I've demolished one of the floodgates over here and built a level 2. Now what I really like, the game automatically synchronizes the floodgates if you have them right here, and it works even at different sizes. You can see that if I go like this, they will stop, but I can still keep opening it, and if I go up, it opens them again. You can uncheck this box, and then you will just, you know, deal with the one that you have there, but usually I just like to keep them all here. So once the water comes, we are going to keep it open and let it flow, because the lake, believe it or not, is still polluted, and somehow it went back to 4%. I guess the bad water evaporates slower than the regular water. I have no idea, man. It's bizarre. Hey guys, what are you talking about? And you're a farmer. Farmer and a hauler and an inventor and a lumberjack. They came and they are having a nice time here. I really like that. I like the game. I really like the vibe it has, and, you know, the calmness, and I can't wait to see more updates, and I really hope the modding community will be strong and there will be DLCs, because this is a really game that can get, you know, extra stuff. There is so much already, and if they continue working on it, it's gonna be just amazing. Anyway, that's all for now. I'll see you in the next update. The drought is ending. It's day 19 of cycle 5, and we're gonna see how everything works out for us. You can see that we actually nearly ran out of water here. I mean, we still have some, but it really isn't that high. We just have the pollution left. That's great. But yeah, water should start flooding in here very, very soon. So that's good. But I'm happy to say that the dam is finished. The northern dam of Hollowpine is finished, and isn't it a treat? So I'm gonna keep it closed. Maybe we will even see it during this update how the water is gonna flow around. We can actually put you guys to something like 2.8 and see how it's going to flow. So yeah, this is done. This is done, and it is functional and beautiful, and I love it. The southern dam has also been rebuilt. You guys know about it. We can actually eventually demolish these blockages, which would eventually, if we want to, allow us to send more water through this area into this area and out of the map. So we would get, I guess, some more green areas. Though I think that, yeah, there's a bad water source over here. So unless we blocked it, which I mean we actually could, what would happen if we blocked it here? It would go through here into this area. What's this? Oh, there's some water here and berries. And they're fresh. There's a source of good water here? No. How come there's a... How come this area is watered? It's really, really weird. I'm confused what's going on there. But either way, yeah, you can see that this map allows for some intricate engineering. So again, if we block it here, this bad water would eventually fill up here, go into this area, and then it would... I guess it would spill here into this area, and then just join with the other bad water source that we have over here. Which would still, you know, mean that we have this entire area, and this area especially, flooded with good water. That might be something to think about. Anyway, I've rebuilt all the bridges. So you can see they're nice and, you know, they're straight. So we're saving even some time on pathfinding. We finished the housing. That's also another big thing. You can see we now have 17 free beds. We have 42 beavers and 13 younglings. So our area is just growing. We have enough wood and planks at this point. It's mostly because of this area that we completely cut down, but yeah, the farms are also yielding, you know, a decent amount of trees, so that is good. I have also, you know, we're watching building the Widow Reservoir here, so that's interesting. We'll see how that's gonna go. And if I just keep it on the building part, you can see that we also planned the aquatic farm here. We've also planned out what we're gonna be growing in the water. You have two ways or two different plants that you can get out of water. You have the spider dock, which is growing for 12 days, but it gives you free spider dock fruit, or I don't know what it is. And then you have the cattail, which you can then get. You get free every 8 days. So I thought that, you know, considering we have enough food, we're gonna get that soon. Hey, actually, come on, guys, that's not cool. Okay, let me just get a little bit of water in here so that we don't, you know, have our stuff dying. Alright, keep the dam closed then. I'm just gonna water them, you know, and reset this because I kind of like to have my stuff dying. So yeah, we planned the aquatic farm. I also planned the wheat farm over here. We will demolish these, or demolish, you know, remove these blueberry bushes and have a path here as well, because I'm trying to be as efficient when it comes to paths as possible, because beaver takes only the paths. So for example, someone from here would have to go all the way like this around to get to the farm. So having an alternative quick route here will be beneficial for us. I'm definitely determined to build a forester here and start planting forests here, so that's something that we will get to eventually. And I'm thinking also that we are going to need expand our storage spaces. Now we have there's two different storages that you have available. You have the small pile, which is just, capacity 20, and then you have the large pile, which you see me using here, which has capacity of 180. However, there's also an underground pile, which costs 1000 research points and has a capacity of 1000. It's the size free as well, so you can replace these that we have with two of these, basically quintupling, is it? Quintupling our capacity, but they cost a lot of planks, a lot of wood, and they cost something which we haven't really talked about much, which is the gears. I'm gonna explain more about the gears later, as I need to figure out how I'm gonna build the infrastructure. But the gears are basically what you go after once you get the planks. It's another type of tool, or not tool, it's another type of resource that you can then use to build, for example, large water tanks, these storages, and they are used in a number of tools. I am only grateful that they are not being used for floodgates, because then, everything would be way more complicated. But for now, we are actually good. Hey, you're flooding from here. That is so nice. So did the pollution go down? It's still 3%. Well, what can we do? But it will flood nicely. So at this point, the goal is to finish all the planned buildings. We have a lot of them, as you can see now. We have another grill here also, because the spatter dog needs to be grilled. So that one is gonna prepare grilled spatter dog for us. I'm also building some extra paths and extra storages for the cattail roots, so that's going to be good. And we'll need a lot of storage space and a mill and a bakery for the wheat farm, so that's something that I also need to plan out correctly. But again, I just want to chill and have all of the currently planned buildings finished, because they will be important for us, and we cannot just plan and plan. We need them to actually have things finished, and my experience is that if you plan too many things at the same time, your beavers will get confused and just build everything at once instead of finishing one thing and then another. Oh, and as a side note, I built another water pump, because with the rising amount of beavers that we have, we need to pump a little more wood we need to pump more wood, guys. Pump that wood. That actually sounds nasty. We need to pump more water for our beavers to survive, because they will be needing that. Oh, hey! It's already happening here. Nice. So the water will soon start flowing in here, which is kind of interesting, because that is the... But yeah, this area is exactly as I thought. So we could divert the bad water through here, and we could keep this entire area as an extension to our, I guess, farming spots, if we wanted to. I mean, we're already taking a quite large amount of, or quite large space of the map here. So, it's not like we can expand endlessly. You can build additional district centers if you want to, but I rarely actually do that, because I like to have one big beaver settlement rather than having multiple ones, even though that is a little bit more efficient. So what about you guys? Are you flowing here? I guess we would have to flood it a little bit more, because they are now passing the water to here, which I mean is fair. And that means you guys can also start putting the water in here. Alright, so that's all for this update. I just plan to, in the meantime, unlock some decorations to make the life of our beavers a little bit better, because they are still at 9 despite all of my actions, and I would like to get them above 10, which is the next big threshold, so that they will work faster and live a happier life. So I'm gonna focus on that. As you can see, drought is approaching. It's day 4 of cycle 6. We actually didn't have much time in this one to do, to do whatever we wanted. So drought is approaching quickly. But I have been busy in the meantime. We have finished most of the buildings that we wanted. As you can see, we now have everything. The reservoir over here actually didn't really work well. I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting a little bit more effect. But I guess, I don't like using these. So, here is a fluid dump. You can actually artificially make big reservoirs. It makes sense, in maps with bad terrain. We could make, for example, a huge area here, and have it as a, emergency reserve of water, for example, and then you can take water from it and work around it. But yeah, again, I was expecting a little bit more from that. I'm kind of confused. I thought I need to look into it a bit more, because I saw people build these and that they watered a large amount of area, so it doesn't work. In the meantime, you can see that we are farming wheat now. We have a huge space. We're working on the connection over here, and I've also set up a a forest here, basically. This is what it's gonna look like. We'll have the oaks on the sides, pines, and birches. So it's gonna be a secondary source of wood for us, because we really need to increase our throughput. Now, we're not doing that bad on wood and planks, but as our settlement is gonna thrive, we will need more. As a side note, or it's not even a side note, as a main goal that I had in between the last update and this one, I actually started unlocking ways to make our beavers happier. I've unlocked the lantern, the shrubs, the contemplation spot, and I'm also unlocking the Lido. Lido is actually a place where your beavers basically go to have some fun and to, wet their fur in the river. So for that reason, I'm actually building a dam here so that we can retain water in here even through the drought. You can just let a little bit water in here and keep it here, and they will be able to swim in here and have a good time. Now, when it comes to the shrubs and lanterns, they are an area of effect decoration. So these will affect any beaver that will actually pass through these yellow areas. So it's good to keep this in mind when you are constructing your city or your settlement, to have places like this one near the main route, because every single beaver that's going to pass through here is going to get affected by this lantern. Same for this one, so you get effect for everyone who's actually sitting here. Here, for everyone that's coming and passing around, we have the shrubs over here, and then you have the nice places like the contemplation spot, which I really like to put in places like high above the town, where the beavers can come and meditate a little bit and think about what they're doing and how their life is good in our settlements. I built another one here with the view over the river, and I have another one here, and I like to combine these so that every beaver that will come to the contemplation spot will actually get an effect of shrub and lantern as well. So this is a really good way how you can make your beavers happy, putting it on cross sections and areas where they will pass so that they get the maximum effect. I actually want to build another Lido over here eventually, but we need to cut down these trees, so I'm gonna let it finish growing, then we'll cut it and put another one over there. Now, when it comes to the water, you saw that we're operating at a maximum efficiency. The dam is full. We are flooding our areas. The pollution is gone. Finally it's gone. We have this area as well full of water, but I think I could not really. Damn it. What I would need to do is actually build this. And as you can see, we are already working on it. So this will take some time to build, but it is going to be a nice thing, because it will block the water that's actually coming from these areas to flow away. And we will also make sure that this area is flooded to this height. And that will also flood this entire area to the height of our floodgates. So why I'm doing this is because this is going to be the primary source of water for our lake. So once the water in the lake gets a little bit lower, we will unlock these floodgates and have it replenished, and we can thus protect the water that's in our main dam from having to actually go there. So that is how it's gonna work. Now we also have the, and I think I mentioned that already, we're at the spider dog and the cattails, so those are growing. It is really, really nice. And I'm actually going to show you one thing that I haven't before, and that is our gear manufacturing workshop. This is an extension to what we have built here, and I've never really showed it before, but I built the water wheel here. Now there is a couple of ways how you can power your houses. Remember that the lumber mill always has this beaver running in the wheel. That is a non-stop but low power source which you can use. Here we actually have a water wheel, which right now is generating 122 horsepower of energy for our gear workshop, which actually requires 120. I'm translating, or the power from this is going to be translated through this power shaft, which is a way how you can actually move. Actually, he's going to build it right now, won't he? Yep, he's going to build it. So the power from this water wheel is going to be translated into the gear workshop, and you will see that it now has enough power. How much? We actually are now producing on 85 horsepower. Well, never mind though, it's still a decent amount of power so that we can start producing gears. Now, as I mentioned, gears are used for advanced housing, not advanced housing, but advanced constructions. Like, for example, large tanks or medium tanks, for things like a bakery and mill, because you need to, grind the flour, from the wheat, and additional houses. Gears are very, very useful. First you get the planks, then it's gears, in the complexity. Now I'm also doing here one thing that I would like to explain, and that pertains to the water wheel power source. Now the water wheel is actually an amazing piece of game engineering, because the amount of power it gives you is directly based on how much water is actually flowing there. And the water flow is modeled very well. So the water is flowing through here fairly slowly, and it's coming here through these floodgates, and it's going at the same speed here as it's going over here. But it was actually going at a lower speed because we had 4 spaces here. So it would slow down here. And that's why I built these levees here on this side, and why I'm building another one on this side, to actually narrow the stream. And if the stream is narrow, the water is gonna go through here faster, powering the water wheel and making it go as well faster. So this way, if you narrow large bodies of water into smaller bodies of water, you can increase the amount of power that you are getting. So for example, if we narrowed it here behind this with the waterfall, we would get double the power as if we built the water wheel over here, because it has twice as much water going through it and powering the water wheel. So building complex structures with water wheels is a really nice thing. And yeah, because they're already building it here, I wonder if you guys will see it. Are you coming with the logs here? Yeah. So you see now it's going at around 130, 44, 135. And if we finish this, it should go even faster, because it's gonna narrow the stream here quite significantly. Yeah, see, it's going up immediately. 140, 140, 140. Yeah, it should go faster. And I could even, if I lowered this, for example, I could regulate the amount of power coming from, 150, 155, 157, 160. So you already see that it's producing 170. It's already producing way more power than it was before. And as we narrow it even further, it should go higher. 182. So it's more power for us. Now there is an additional thing that you can build here for power, which is the windmill. Now it goes interesting. It's really interesting, the power sources. The power wheel provides very little power, but it is reliable because, it powers through basically motion of the body. The water wheel is less reliable because it doesn't work during droughts, of course, unless you create some kind of way where you can continuously send the water down there. And then there's the windmill, which is an entirely random source of power. I'm hoping that they're gonna redesign it, because if it doesn't really matter where you put it, whether it's up or down, high or low, whether it's, you know, next to a rock or, you know, in the middle of the plains. There is no model for wind in the game at this point, so it is entirely randomized, and it produces up to 150 power or 300 if you build a big one, you know, throughout the day. So each one of the sources of energy have different benefits and different penalties for you. So you have to combine them and, you know, use the right one for your use case. Basically, you need to think about what you need and build accordingly. So that's for gears. I'm gonna close this update by saying that I'm actually planning one thing that I want to show you, which is really neat. I do it usually when I'm already, you know, done with all of the priority things, and that's the roofs. You have actually decorations as the roofs, which again work as a source of happiness for the beavers, and you can play with them. There is a large amount of different ones that you can, you know, put up there and put on your houses to make them look nicer, to make them look, you know, a little bit fancier. And the beavers like it. The beavers like the roofs. Now you can of course not build on the roofs because, you know, that's the end building basically. But if you put roofs on top of your houses, beavers are going to be happy. Unfortunately, they cost quite a lot to unlock, so I'm usually trying to be economical and just unlock the ones that I need. Usually, for example, the 2x2 roof, and use it on most of the houses, and then 3x3 for the larger ones, you know. But once I have enough science and especially enough planks and wood, I'm gonna do that. All right, I think that this is all that I have in my notes that I wanted to show you. So I will see you next time in the next update, basically, which is in a second. Alright, the drought has just started and it's a 10-day one. We've closed off all of our dams, making sure that... actually, we're gonna close this one off as well, which is gonna kill the water wheel, but it's fine. We actually haven't managed to get enough gears for anything. We have 8 gears over here, but for the mill and bakery, we need way more. Where is it? Yeah, the grist mill requires 20 gears and the bakery requires 10, so we cannot really build those, so we're not going to take advantage of the wheat that we are now you know, planting, but I guess we're gonna just have to wait. This is the unfortunate effect of the water wheel, because this entire section will now not work during the drought. Now, what can we do? What can we do? I'm actually sectioned off this area and it's still not finished, you know, the Lido or the dam, so that part is not ready yet. We have 47 beavers and 21 young ones, so we are running really high on our capacity. We have only 4 free beds. So yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit more careful now about the population. I think we have enough food, enough water for everyone, especially because we have a lot of, you know, water everywhere, so it's not really a biggie. We're continuing with the construction down here, and lanterns are now everywhere. As you can see, they are really nice. But still, the beavers have only happiness of 9, which is kind of weird. It really is oscillating. I need to push a little bit further because I want to get safely above 10. And I guess that's that. So this is a really just short update that, you know, the drought is here and we are here as well. And we'll be here, God willing, in the coming weeks as well. Day 11. Now we're about, well, almost halfway through the drought. We're doing pretty good. I actually have, though, a bit weird of a experience that I wanted to show you. Anyway, we have 55 beavers, 15 children. Everything is fine. we're enjoying the growth, but we're actually starting to have some unemployed beavers, which is something that I'm not used to most of the time. So it might be a good idea to build another hauling post and builder's hut as we will go around. We've also sectioned off the grist mill and the bakery so that we have them in, ready when the gear workshop is working again, when we have the water. We're actually harvesting the cattails too, as we have them finished. They're beautiful. I hope that the beavers will enjoy eating them. What else to say? Well, we need to prioritize wood logging, to be quite honest, because again, wood is a little bit of an issue. We have a ton of planks, but logs are an issue, and we need logs to continue building this dam. We've been working on it for quite some time now. It's very slow, but progressing nicely, because again, we have the source of wood here. Every day number of trees pop up and they are immediately cut down and we fabricate them. I'm also thinking that we might need a bigger water pump. The issue with that is that the large water pump doesn't need only gears, but it also needs metal, and metal is something that I haven't really talked about yet. I would like to cover it here as well. You get it from these ruins. So you need to get your beavers to them, and there is a special collector. It's not under cut trees, it's under... where's metal? Here. You get a scavenger flag. So we would need, and that's not, a big issue, but we would need to create a path for our beavers to get to these and start scavenging it. There are also so-called underground ruins here, which have unlimited amount of metal in them. But they require something else, which is called mine. So you build a mine on them, and you get the metal ad infinitum. But those cost 4,000 research points, 200 refined planks, and 350 gears. So it is, very late game kind of stuff. But the scavenger flags, you can get them really easily, even in the beginning. There's no limitation apart from the 250 research points. So we would need to get that to build the larger water pump. That's the reason why I'm not usually building it, and I just, build more of the smaller ones. But yeah, I mean, at this point we still have a ton of things to build. You can see the ghost buildings and constructions around everywhere. I built another contemplation spot over here on top of this house because, they're gonna have a nice view. They have a shrub here as well to be happy, and on their way they will pass a lantern, so they will be happy. I wanted to build the roofs that I spoke about some time ago, but we just have so much to build already that I don't want to complicate it so much. Day 14 of the 6th cycle. We have managed to get our forester online, and the beavers here are just patiently waiting for the trees to grow while he plants them one by one. Look at him. Look at him working. Our happiness is now mostly staying at 10. I've seen it drop a couple of times. But the main reason that I actually started this recording is that we got 63 beavers and 9 young ones. We have 8 unemployed. We're continuing with the constructions. I've actually built a number of warehouses here also to store the bread and other goods. But I wanted to show you that this video doesn't work, and I actually forgot. I think I started talking about it in the previous update, but then I forgot about it. So let me just show you. I think that's a bug in the game, because if I flood this area, it starts working, but then, for some reason, all of the water goes out. I don't understand it. There is something wrong with this, because this dam is just not retaining enough water here. It's really weird. I've never seen a bug like this. I think it's the fact that the Lido is actually adjacent to this. So unless we have a running water all the time, this Lido will never work. I'm not gonna demolish it. I like to have it here. And we're actually already building another one over here as another source of happiness for our beavers. But yeah, the northern Lido is basically just out of order for most of the time, and I don't know how to fix it. I've never seen this before. It's bizarre. But yeah, we're harvesting wheat. We'll be having these finished once the water is back, and we can actually start manufacturing gears, which require planks, but we have planks. We have so many planks that you cannot really believe it. And because now we have a second forester, we will also have way more wood. So the colony is doing great. The colony is doing great. And I'm really getting to a point where I'm gonna call it quits and start doing some of the challenge maps. I hope you guys are enjoying me explaining the mechanics and the thoughts behind them, because this is how I play. And some of the challenge maps are so hard that you will be like, you cannot believe it, like how hard they are. It's either, you know, no water sources, or too little trees, or too little space. You just see, or bad water everywhere. So they are way more fun because you need to put all of your brain to work to survive. Anyway, I'll see you, I guess, with the final update for this episode next. Day 1 of cycle 7, and the drought has ended. We are fine when it comes to water, but as you can see, the actual height of it went down quite significantly. The lake is almost gone. We got like 0.11. I mean, of course, there's the original river here, but yeah, even the dam itself is not doing all that hot. I think it's really the evaporation. As I mentioned before, the evaporation is based on the amount of surface water. So very deep, very narrow sources of water are much better than large-scale ones like this. What I'm talking about it is because I thought that we were kind of okay, and we actually aren't. We have significantly less water than I expected. I was under the impression that we would be okay for 20 days, maybe even more, and right now I feel like 10 to 15 days is the optimum. Then we're gonna have a little bit of an issue. Now this is a little bit offset by the fact that this dam over here is almost done, so that means we're gonna create yet another artificial storage of water. But if the evaporation is the problem, you know, that this one has a ton of evaporation. There's gonna be a huge surface area, so it's not gonna really prolong it much. It's gonna make it better, but you know, not gonna give us double of what we had. So the actual solution to this problem would be to get something like this area and build a small reservoir and dump the water in through either the fluid dump and have it as an emergency source of water, or, and that's what I'm gonna pursue in here, getting more water reserves. So we're gonna try to get the large tanks, which require 60 gears each, but you saw the small tanks, which give 30 water. Then you got the medium tank, which has 300 capacity, so 10 times more. And then you have the large tanks, which has 1200 capacity. It is a large boy, but it also requires metal blocks. So we'll have to collect metal, which is gonna be the point of the next episode. We're gonna try to figure out the way how to do this as effective as possible. Now these sources are actually pretty good. There's a lot of them, so I think we're just gonna build a path to those over this hill. Are there any more? Well, there's some ruins over there. There's some ruins over there. There's some ruins even down here. So there are ways how we can get metal. We'll go over them in the next episode, where I'm gonna actually set up the industry, and that's gonna be it for us. As the thing is, we are going to hopefully finish the grist mill, and oh yeah, we're just missing the gears and the bakery. I've already built the warehouses, and we're building a couple more, so that is actually going okay. As before, the issue is the throughput of wood. We have a lot of planks, but we don't have enough logs. Now, the upper farm is actually going well and strong. We are planting more and more, but the issue here is mostly the amount of water in the reservoir. So what we're doing here now is we're just making this one a little bit more full. Let's put you at 1.85. There is water coming through here as well, so that is nice. It's actually not flowing through here at all, so all of it is now going into our main lake, which will create probably a little bit of an issue. We'll have to make sure that we moderate it correctly, because this is gonna cause a lot of flooding, as the throughput of water now is gonna be, you know, bigger. Hey, Beaver's actually enjoying the Lido now. Oh man, it is so so cool and so cute. I like them. Well, the happiness is now 12, so we're slowly getting higher and higher. If we ever build the roofs, it's gonna get even better. And then, you know, there's not much else that we can do. I mean, that's not true. There's a lot that we can do. There's the herbalists, agoras. We can build little showers, tea towers, dance halls. But those require significant investment. And again, this is mostly a tutorial playthrough. I want to get to the real challenge maps as soon as possible. So yeah, we're just gonna make sure that everything is okay. And in the next episode, we are going to start mining the metal. I mean, at this point, generally speaking, I think we're also really good. We have 67 beavers and 4 young ones. We have 16 beavers with no job, so, you know, we can actually build the haulers and everything. And the optimization is going to be the next big thing for us. Again, the gears is what we need to get working. But yeah, some of the trees are growing. There's going to be trees growing up here. Some of these might be actually, yeah, some of these are almost mature. So that's nice. By the time we finish the planting, this is going to be done. So did you already fill? You didn't fill enough, but yeah, that's a problem for another day. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. It was, at least based on recording time, I don't know how much I'm gonna cut out, but it seemed to be really, really long. So I'm hoping that you enjoyed it, because we are good. We are treating our beavers good, and we are stable and strong. So see you in the next one with maybe even the last episode of Hollowpine.